Now this here is the overlay, and this is the story. I have created my incarnation site and the settlement is nearly complete. Now at the beginning of every level, you get a little flyby. This flyby shows you the important things in the level, like the enemy tribe, that's the enemy shaman right there, a little hut, a little warrior training hut, read right there. The Vault of Knowledge, which contains a permanent addition to your either spell list or your building list. A stone head, which gives you a bonus, often only a one-time bonus, you have to worship it. And this is our base itself. Now a couple of things here, let's get the interface out of the way. This on the left is your mini-map. You can click on it, or you can right-click to go into World View, or you can press Enter to go seamlessly from World View to isometric view. You can use the arrow keys to spin the camera around, or you can use the mouse to, no you can't, sorry. You can use the mouse to select and give orders, but that's it. This tab right here, these three tabs are basically your mastermind area. This is where you command everything that you can see from spells to buildings to follower number. This here is your building list. Every time you gain new buildings, they show up on these squares. Right now, we're on the very first mission, the very beginning of our journey. So we have one building, the hut, which we can house braves into, and a question mark, which this building is not available yet. It is in fact hidden inside this Vault of Knowledge. Only the shaman can worship it, but when we do worship it, we get a building whose icon is that little dude with the shield right there. That is the warrior training hut. Warriors are these little dudes here. You'll see them later on when I get it. So, what does this hut do? Huts can house braves, and braves can generate mana. Mana can give you spells. The very first spell you're given in the game is Blast, a fireball. I'm gonna blast this little dude out of the water. Just on me. Yeah, it just shoots them out. It acts as an explosive barrier and basically tosses enemies around. You saw the blast radius wasn't very big with my own followers, but that's because they were my own. If I blasted the enemy followers, they'd go flying, and you'll see me go later on go crazy with that when I invade their base. So, the very first order of business you often want to do is get a lay of the land. We have a very small island to start out on, and a couple of braves. I mean, there's one less now, but we have some braves to use. Braves are your basic workforce. They can do everything from... They can do just... All they can do is build, gather wood, and enter huts to make mana for you. Now, they're the workhorse. They are essential to the survival of the tribe, but at the same time, they're pretty crappy in combat. You don't want to send them into combat unless you're desperate or being attacked, because they'll die very quickly, especially if a warrior is the one doing the fighting. So... This last tab I forgot to mention is the Followers tab. You can see here, this middle bar here doesn't change, but this basically is your Selector tab, your Total Units tab. This tab right here, these numbers, mean how many you currently have selected, how many little arrows there are. There are 4 total followers, 4 of them are braves. If I choose the Shaman, there's 5. These little Z's mean they're idle followers. Idle braves really don't do much. You have to make them do something. They can, if they become busy, they can generate mana for your spells, but they generate a lot of mana if you stuff them inside a hut. Now, I just told them all to enter, but because the carrying capacity is too large, the others just pop out and do nothing. Since there are 4 left, I'm going to tell them to build another building. I'm going to tell them to build another hut right there. So, now you see them get to work. You see them, one of them goes down to chop up a tree because you need a certain number of wood to make a building. And the other 3 are flattening the ground to make the building foundations.